to host you today to our Wealth Talks webinar dedicated to not only custody fees, but investment fee analysis in general. How to make sure that your clients are paying not only the right amount of fees, but the fair amount of fees. How to identify the hidden fees, how to get the full picture of the fees for your clients and the explanation behind that. So this is what we're going to be talking about today, and we believe this is the role of your PMS to facilitate that highly time-consuming process of investment fee analysis. But we go beyond that, because we have decided to help you to automate this process. And this is why we are very happy to announce today that we have started a partnership with a very innovative fintech specialized in investment fee analysis, which is GreenLock. And obviously, this is going to be the major topic we're going to be discussing today, and this partnership with GreenLock, why we have decided to do it, what is the nature of our partnership. And for that, obviously, we will be hosting the CEO of GreenLock, Danil, who will be talking about how they conduct their analysis, what is their methods, how do they calculate the reduction potential for their clients. But before that, we will have, as usual, an update from our CEO, Radomir. And afterwards, we'll go through this partnership introduction. Why does it make sense to analyze your client's investment fees? So the CEO of GreenLock will spend some time to explain you why does it make sense. And we will be spending also some time to describe how WealthArc and GreenLock work together to automate your investment fee analysis. And if you are interested to get started, obviously we'll describe you the main steps, how to get started to benefit from these new capabilities we are offering to you now. And we will end by a Q&A session. So this is the plan today. So now the Q&A is active, so you can from now start asking questions, and we will be covering those questions at the end of the webinar. So, all right, let's get started. I'm very happy to welcome the CEO of WealthArc, Radomir, this morning. So, Radomir, good morning to you, and the floor is yours.
Good morning. Thank you, Etienne, for introduction. Let me give you a short update on WealthArc. So, year 2022 was very generous for us. We welcomed 11 new clients and grew our team to over 40 people. Some of the new faces you might already met. Our new head of product, Nikita, and our sales manager in Zurich, Jan. The purpose of WealthArc is to help EAMs and family offices to increase operational efficiency, to streamline processes and reduce manual work. FIDLEC and FINIC this year imposed new compliance workflows on EAMs. So throughout the whole year, we have been automating those workflows to save time of our clients. List of functionalities included within the scope of compliance module is long. It includes detection of AML transactions, client risk profiling, suitability and appropriateness checks, adding notes when portfolios deviate from strategy, rendering of customer accounts, concentration risk, and more. We are in the home stretch with compliance functionalities, and we are now slowly shifting our focus to investment data. We'll be extending scope of data you see on the platform, improving quality, adding better support for illiquid assets. And most of all, we'll work with partners like GreenLock to unlock the value of high-quality data available on our platform. I will now hand over to Etienne and Daniel to explain the value you get from integration between GreenLock and WealthArc. I wish you all favorable markets and fair fees you pay to your custodians and product providers. Thank you, and I'll hand over back to Etienne.
Thank you, Radomir. This is really the point of the webinar today, and this is a great transition to introduce you to the CEO of GreenLock, Danil. We are very excited about obviously this partnership, and today on the line we have many WealthArc clients. So a very good morning, Danil. If you could say a few words about yourself and about GreenLock. Danil, can we hear us? Are you in the line? It seems we have some troubles with the connection. So let's just wait a couple of minutes, only the time Danil will use to reconnect. Yeah, Danil will reconnect. Sorry about the delay.
Sorry. Hello.
Okay, here we go. Good morning, Danil.
Good morning, everybody. Etienne, thank you very much for introduction. Very keen to share some great stories that we developed together with WealthArc and GreenLock. Maybe let's go to my next slide. We started GreenLock with one major idea is to bring transparency to the very opaque fee structure in the investment industry. In the same way, once we bring the transparency, it adds lots of accountability to every single intermediary because they need to back up and provide a very strong argument why they charge so high fees. What are the actual value they bring to the customer in exchange of those fees? And we try to have it through the very detailed fee benchmark that we build up in-house that provide a very fine detailed comparison between different type of clients with different IUMs and across different banks and private wealth managers. So having this information, we really strive to identify the best potential for our clients for the fee reduction. And maybe let me start with the idea that today it's very hard for the client to really grasp on how much he's paying in fees. It's not at all a matter of work. I think number one reason is up to 60% of the investment fees are hidden from the investor, meaning you will not see them as a standalone line in your quarterly statement because they're hidden within your assets. I give you a very simple example. Think of Forex exchange fee, something you will not see, but something that is linked within the actual exchange rate provided by the bank, which is really different than the exchange rate provided by the market. So they pocket the difference. Another reason, another example is think of an actively managed mutual fund where managers obviously will charge his own fees. And again, he will hide it inside NAV, net assets value, and you will never see what is going on really. Or a very straightforward example down the line is brokerage fee. It's very rare. It's really exceptional that bank would provide you at the end of the year a detailed summary, how much does it charge for brokerage. And there is a great reason for that. Really, if you think about all the intermediaries that provide you service in financial markets, there's not a single one that has an incentive to bring light to their fee structure. Quite the contrary, they try to make it so complex, so opaque for you that you will never even try to get to understand that. And really, fees are nobody's business but you as a final investor. Nobody is there in the line is helping you to get it together. And more, we just realized after conducting this last year that 90% of the investors, they never even try to negotiate their fees. They just take it as granted, thinking, okay, this is what bank is paying, or they think, look, it's really marginal. We don't want to bother. We rather focus on the top line. Let's bring the return. So to prove you that fees are really matter and they are really important, let me go into a few case studies that just came from the last quarter. I'll focus on just three because it really provides you the scope of how different clients are being paid with unjustified fees. Example number one, we had a client, a Swiss-based family office, around 95 million in IUM, And originally, they paid around 1.1% of assets under management. After our intervention, we were able to reduce it down almost by half to around 0.4 IUM, which resulted for the IUM in additional gains of 600,000 a year. And this is guaranteed annual gain for the lifetime. The key levers here to reduce the fees were, number one, benchmark. We compared what this client paid in advisory and brokerage fee to these banks, and compared it across our benchmark and found multiple instances where client with a similar IUM in a very similar banks, the same tier bank in Switzerland, paying sometimes half less fees. And we confronted the bank with this information, saying, "Look, we are really overpaying when we compare our client with the overall street rates. And if we want to keep the relationship, we really want to align with the overall market." Bank did really very little to push back. They said, "Okay." Actually, the actual quote from bank is, "We never lost a client because our fee was too high. Okay, we give you a discount of 50%." And like that, client pocketed 600 a year. Again, guaranteed lifetime. It took us 2 months to achieve it. And it's pretty much stellar IRR if you think about it. No risk, guaranteed, and straight away. Another example for this client is given its large IUM size, he was trading with the right significant lots of mutual funds. And as you may know, once you hit a certain threshold, typically it's about 3 or 5 millions, you are entitled to an institutional class of mutual fund. What does it mean? It means you pay the lowest fee possible, the lowest fee that typically large institution would pay. Yet, banks were not really advertising this option, and it offered by default the client the retail share class. And the difference between retail and institutional is really almost double. I give an example for equity fund. Institutional would pay something around 70 basis points, and retail would pay almost 1.5%. So when we try to dig deeper and understand why bank is doing that, the reason was really on the surface. By law, banks are not entitled for retrocession fee when they sell institutional share class. That's why it's made for institutional. On the contrary, when they sell retail share class, there is a certain amount of that money that they pocket as a retrocession or kickback fees. And obviously, banks are very much incentivized to offer this kind of mutual fund share class. So we upgraded our client into institutional share class, which again immediately bring back the difference to the pocket. Another example was much smaller client, 15 million IUM, with a large fee, 1.9 IUM, a lot of fees. And again, we were able to reduce it almost by half. So here, there was some help of benchmark. We found there is some potential to save, but not a lot. Most of the savings came here really from the poor cash management. This client, for good or for worse, really didn't catch up with a Federal Reserve policy and still kept lots of cash, lots of idle cash on the account without thinking to put them on deposit, probably living still in 2021 where deposit rate was 0. There was really not much difference. Either you keep your cash as a cash or you keep it on deposit. So here there was a lot of cash lying on there without deposit. And not only that, clients were paying all-in fees. And he didn't ensure with the bank that all-in fees would not apply in cash. So for this portfolio, up to 30% were lying in cash. Number one, this cash didn't collect deposits. Number two, clients were paying all-in fees on this cash, even though it was never used by the bank. So we negotiated both these down, and this resulted to in excess of 200,000 annual gains a year. And just last example, again, a large client, 120 millions. For this case, there was a very specific case. We found that only charged fees in total of 70K from a custodian bank, something you would really not expect from the bank, that banks somehow charge wrong fees. Impossible, you think? No, it's actually quite possible, and that's how they did it. This client were under all-in mandate, and within the mandate, we discovered that up to 40% it was internal products from the bank. And not only it was internal products, it was the most expensive retail share class internal products for this client. Even though you see it's 120 million IUM, you would definitely go for institutional share class. When we confronted it to the bank, saying, look, it doesn't make sense. First, you take all-in mandate from us, you take one layer of fee, and inside it, you propose mostly your products with the most awful share class possible. It doesn't work like this. At very least, what you should do, you should upgrade us immediately to all the institutional share class. It's your own product. We're entitled to do that. And please bring back all the fees that you charged for the last 2 years and give it back to our client. And bankers were willing to do so, not to lose such a great client for them. Obviously, when you collect so much fees, you would not want to lose it. So maybe one outlining important point here is that banks know that they overcharge. And that's why we see very little confrontation when we come to them and say, you're completely off the benchmark. And they agree to reduce. At the same time, we take a very large caution, understanding that there is a certain limit how low you can go with a bank. Typically, it's somewhere between 80 and 100K. This is how much bank would like to make in revenue per client to consider it as an important client. So we try to trace this amount of money and try not to decrease it too much. But everything which is in excess of that money and is not confirmed by the benchmark, we cut it. And maybe a few last slides how we do it. What is the engine behind? We typically work with 4 types of input data that we need. This is your quarterly portfolio statement, very simple, a list of your securities with a currency and amount. Then number 2 is your original signed terms and conditions with the counterparties, typically your fee schedule, how much you pay for brokerage, for advisory, for investment management. Number 3, it's your daily transaction. And number 4, this is a specific document that we request from bank. It's a detailed quarterly fee statement. This is where bank by law is obliged to disclose why they charge so much. They say how much they charge, what was the effective rate, what was the calculation basis, and how many effectively days they charge. So luckily, with the cooperation of WealthArc, all of this data, most of this data would go automatically to us because WealthArc is already capturing this data. What is going next? We first move it into modeling and try to recover all the hidden fee items. And I mentioned those before. These are all the brokerage, forex fee, management fee, and retrocession fee. We also try to enrich this data with a third-party metrics. If we see client has lots of mutual funds, we take the ISINs of those mutual funds, go to Refinity for Morningstar, deduce the fees associated with these funds, apply them to your model, and eventually we try to compare how much you pay for each individual type of services, being custody, brokerage, advisory, forex fee, with what is offered on the benchmark. How much clients with a similar IUM pay either within the same bank or bank very similar to yours. Then we run this entire data fee model through 50 plus different fee verification checks. Examples could be, are we having institutional share class? Do we know all the retrocession fees? Are we removing cash from custody, from all-in, etc., etc.? And in that, we assess the reduction potential for the fees. And least lead us to the last section. This is where we provide to the client, think about it as a data fee cube, where we have a very clear, detailed structure of how much fees are being paid, both visible and invisible, and we can really analyze it at very fine category by security, by asset type, by type of transaction, by bank, all the dimension you think possible. Out of that, we rank all the fees and try to focus on the highest category. And for those, we think, okay, can we reduce it? And to reduce it, what should be done? We come forward to the client with the fee reduction initiatives and certain negotiation strategy with the bank. Either we try to back up with the benchmark data, or there is simple mistake from the bank. Example, just from a few days ago, we found a client signed all-in agreement with bank, and banks still charge brokerage fee under this all-in agreement. Obviously, something doesn't go well here. We came back to the bank and say, look, cancel brokerage agreement is not part of all-in. And lastly, when it's done, once we brought client to the benchmark level, we keep monitoring those fees on a quarterly basis, knowing that additional securities come, others go, additional relationship are being opened, trying to ensure that clients are always pays what he is entitled to pay to the bank as number one. And number two, whatever he's paying is always aligned to best in class or at least median by the market fee level according to our benchmark. So with this tool, what we really try to do is to help our clients to completely have peace of mind in terms of how much he pays in fees and focus on really what matters for him, trying to identify and get into the best investments possible. I think that's it. Happy to take any questions. Etienne, I'll let you continue.
Thank you so much, Danil, for explaining the methods, and it's also the reasons why we've decided to start this partnership with GreenLock, because the methods that you are applying is not only checking those the fees, and if the fees are aligned with the contract, but it's also applying a benchmark to make sure that to really assess if the amounts of fees are fair against the markets, and up to the on the support on the negotiation that you provide with custodian banks. So it's really a fully integrated solution to help our clients to reduce their clients' investment fees. So it brings me to the partnership. So how these partnerships will look like, and first of all, why we do it. So as Radomir told you earlier, the main goal of WealthArc and all the strategy behind it is really to help asset managers and family office to increase their operational efficiencies by driving as much automation we can, by helping them to streamline their processes, and above all, to reduce all the manual work and those manual tasks they are doing on a daily basis. So obviously, many clients have been asking us these capabilities of investment fee analysis in the platform, and with GreenLock and the partnership we have, we really offer something which is unique in the market, which is a portfolio management system covering this investment fee analysis feature, fully integrated within our offering and provided by our partner GreenLock. So in terms of the nature of the partnership, this is a technical and commercial partnership we have together with GreenLock. Commercial because we have signed an exclusivity agreement together, and the point is really to offer something which is unique in the market, and offering also to WealthArc clients the best possible commercial conditions when it comes to the GreenLock services. But also a technical partnership, because as Danil mentioned, we will be facilitating and automating the transfer of data needed for GreenLock to run their analysis. And then GreenLock will be transferring back this report to you as a client. It brings me to obviously the next slide. Providing an automated backend here is really key regarding this partnership. So as you know, what we do in WealthArc is we consolidate the data from custodian banks. So all those interfaces that we've built internally by our data team, over 100 custodian banks are interfaced with us. So we consolidate every day the positions and transactions data to our platform. So what we'll be doing with GreenLock is simply to automate the transmission of these transactions data we already have to them on a daily basis, on a weekly basis, monthly basis, or quarterly basis, depending of the types of service you will need, and also the historical data as well for the first report. And then GreenLock will be able to provide you with this fee analysis report, whether accessible into their platform or directly, you will be able to save it directly on the WealthArc platform. And when it comes to this integration, this is the beginning here of the travel with GreenLock. We have already one client using this service, so we've done the proof of concept already, and when we look into the future, then we are planning to bring much more integration between us as part of this partnership. You will be able soon to create, to see a side-by-side integration between our two platforms. We are planning to make sure that those reports are coming as well directly into the WealthArc application. So we are also building a roadmap together to have more integration between us. All right, let's talk about how to get started, basically, how to benefit from these new capabilities. As I mentioned, we have already clients using it. This, obviously offering can start right now. So if you are interested to know more about this partnership and how you can benefit from these new capabilities, you can directly reach out to your account manager. So myself for French-speaking the part of Switzerland, and Jan, the account manager within the Zurich, and Lugano region. And then we'll set up a meeting with GreenLock. So they will share with you obviously their investment fee methodologies. They will be able to show you example of reports, and we'll be able to select the right, obviously, service for you. Then we'll go through the proposal phase, and when it comes to the contractual phase, you will only need to sign the WealthArc DPA, authorizing us to transmit those transactions data directly to GreenLock on a daily basis. And then we'll start the transmission of data to GreenLock, providing both the historical transactions data in order for them to make the first fee report available, and also to set up a daily transmission of those transactions. And then you will get the first reports. And if you wish so, you will be able to set up a continuous fee monitoring, receiving from GreenLock, a quarterly fee or annual fee analysis report, depending of your needs. So that was it regarding this partnership, and obviously we are here to answer all the questions you guys have. We are very excited to offer you these new capabilities today. So now it's time for the Q&A session. So if you have any questions, it's now time to ask. And maybe before receiving some questions, I have one question to Danil. I was keen to ask you why you hide. So how you got this idea of creating GreenLock? What was the path in your mind that brought you willing to create this company?
Thank you, Etienne. I think it was naivety initially, because we were charged by a family office based in Switzerland to work on a number of initiatives with portfolio analytics, with risk management, and one of the stream was really fee analysis. And we thought there is not much to recover there, but eventually we happened to find the largest locked value potential in there. And the more we scratched the surface, the more we saw the unjust fee from the bank, especially to those clients that are either coming from not professional finance background or coming from specific geographies. Think of Latin America, Eastern Europe, Middle East. Bank would not hesitate to take as much advantage of you. And we realized out of all initiatives, this one brought immediate and secured value to the client. And we decided to scale it up, to offer it to more and more clients, seeing the same story repeating itself all over.
No, that's very interesting, and obviously now you are working with mainly, I guess, family office and external asset managers. How many clients you guys have in Switzerland?
Yeah, we started earlier at the beginning of this year. We right now have a mix of single family office and multi-family office. Today we manage around 15 accounts, but looking forward to, I think, double it in the coming months.
That's what we wish, obviously, for you. I can see that we have no questions, so I believe we have been very clear, Danil, in our session. Obviously, we are here at your disposal, as I mentioned, If you want to know more about about our partnership, if you want to benefit from this new capabilities, please reach out to us. And yeah, you can always also contact your customer success manager as well if you have any questions. All right, I believe we can conclude. It was a pleasure to have you today. We will have our next Wealth Talks in Q1 2023, so it's going to be probably around end of January. So looking forward to having you all in the next year, and I wish you a great end of the year for all of you with a lot of success. Thank you very much.
Bye-bye.